YouTube, what is up? Now, I know before we get into this, it's going to be a different type of video. Basically, this video, if you're watching it on my Undisputed MMA channel, ignore this part. But if you're watching it on, which you're most likely watching it on the Jack Casey Raps YouTube channel, then this video went out on Undisputed MMA about an hour earlier. Basically, this is going to be different to my normal content on the Jack Casey Raps channel. But, obviously, if you're on Undisputed MMA, this is what you see. Anyways, we're going to be doing a breakdown of the Nate Robinson-Jake Paul fight. And yeah, I mean, I watched this fight live. I bought it. And you know, like I know what happens, but I do want to break it down because the amount of wimpy YouTubers and people that are like, I know everything about boxing now. Like, buddy, you don't. Like, stop the talking. You don't know what you're talking about. Being like, I don't even know. They're being annoying. Anyways, I figured we should break it down just because why not, really? Jake Paul posted this full fight on his channel, which, I mean, I'm sure Triller's not too happy about, but hey, we're going to take a look at this fight. It's kind of going to be a play-by-play as well as a reaction, as well as me just describing what's happening. You know, I'm going to try and, obviously, I've got the audio muted here, and we have some walkouts. Jake Paul's walkout was pretty cool. Snoop Dogg's commentary of this was absolutely hilarious, by the way. If you weren't watching it live, sucks, because his commentation was absolutely hilarious. But we'll skip ahead until we get to the fight here. I'm assuming this is it. But yeah, I remember watching this live. Yeah, it's interesting to see, and yeah, here we go. And yeah, we're just gonna get into this, baby. Yeah, I just wanted to put out this video because so many YouTubers are acting like they know a lot about boxing when they don't. But anyways, I just wanted to take a look at this fight and explain it from more of a boxing peer standpoint. Obviously, sounds off here. You just get to hear my beautiful voice because Jake Paul's got his music playing in the background. So, my last video on that, I made a reaction to that track, but got taken down. Anyways, we see, you know, Jake come out with that feint. He's feinting. And then, like, that that movement from Nate Robinson was absolutely horrendous. I remember watching this with my dad. Doesn't know much about boxing. It's like, oh, he's really fast. And I've seen a lot of YouTubers be like, professional basketball players using his speed there. You could see he's using this great... No, he's not. He's being an idiot, and that could be chalked up to inexperience and nerves, but it was very extremely reckless. And right here, Jake didn't know what to do. In all fairness to Nate, Jake was looking a little confused. So you can see, like, he doesn't know what's going down, going to that clinch. And then, you know, we saw Jake, I think, you know, Jake utilized that clinch when he was really uncomfortable. And this is what I think we thought was going to happen when he fought in Nissan Gibb. At least these first, like, 10 seconds, 20, 30 seconds. Like, Nate landed I'm pretty sure he landed that right. I don't know if he landed it, but I think Jake. I don't know if it went through Jake's guard, but. And then the jab from Jake, which we heard him talk about after the fight, why he thinks it wasn't landing, but the jab from Jake in this fight was not landing. It was not as class as it was previously in that Nissan Gibb fight, which he used to really control the fight. He later chalked it up to a meditating accident, but, you know. But yeah, you know, Nate, yeah. And personally, I did not think this fight would go out of the first round, though. I hate Jake Paul, but I had Jake Paul winning this fight. Sadly, I had him winning it. I hate him, but I had him winning. You know, people were saying, I was really surprised seeing people think that Nate Robinson had a chance. And it might seem crazy that a professional basketball player, professional athlete is getting killed by a YouTuber, but in hindsight, it makes sense, and before this fight, it made sense to me. Most people, at least in the more mainstream media scene, they're like, Jake Paul's a YouTuber. He doesn't know anything about boxing. Nate Robinson, no. Like, I know I made some money off bets on this fight, bro. I know I did because just people didn't know. And then that overhand from Jake was really, I think, he was using it very well, and Nate Robinson was extremely reckless. He was so reckless, Jake really took advantage of it. And then we saw Nate Robinson later on, I'll say something about it, but we saw him switch into a southpaw stance as well. And then, yeah, he comes back into that clinch, and I think this first round, these first couple of minutes, Jake, you could see Jake getting annoyed, right? At least in my opinion, it seemed like Jake was getting slightly annoyed right here. Like look at Jake. He looks kind of annoyed, like, okay, stop putting me in the clinch. I want to fight you. But obviously, Jake was utilizing the clinch as well. I'm not saying that Nate was the only one using it, because Jake was utilizing it, especially at the start when Nate came out extremely reckless, just ran at him, not boxing at all, really. And, I mean, to be fair to Nate, he didn't look terrible here. I mean, at least, okay, terrible in the sense that, yeah, and there's that knockdown, and that was a good knockdown from Jake, and I saw people saying to hit him in the back of the head, and it was illegal. In boxing, any combat sport, if your head blows to the back of the head, yes, are not allowed. But if you're moving that direction, and a punch is already being thrown, and you're continuing to move into the punch, which is what Nate did right here, and it hits the back of the head, perfectly legal. And taking a look at the replay, the punch more landed like here, probably slightly on the back side of that ear, which, hey, it was a clean punch from Jake. As much as it pains me to say, it was a clean strike. And yeah, just the recklessness of Nate Robinson was pretty much the story. We saw Jake, Jake's just waiting. And then, yeah, we see Nate complaining back of the head, saying it's a rabbit punch, but it wasn't. It really wasn't even that far behind the back of the head. Like, Nate Robinson, that's a concussion, bud. That's a concussion. And you can see Nate Robinson does not want to be here right now. Like, you can see. And then there's that slip, which you can see Nate Robinson utilizing this slip as a time to try and get more time to recover. At least in amateur boxing fights slash newer boxers, if someone gets hurt, we see them get very reckless and see them do what Nate's doing here, where they get lower and they're just gonna pray they don't get hit by these strikes, and almost are okay with that slip happening, if that makes sense. And really, personally, I was surprised to see this fight go out of the first round. I think Jake got a slower start than I was expecting, mainly due to Nate Robinson's pure recklessness. I think he was more unorthodox than a Nissan Gibb in their fight, which might seem crazy to say, but he was at least in certain parts way more unorthodox. Obviously, when Nate's not sprinting at him, wasn't as unorthodox, but I think you understand what I'm saying when I say he was quite unorthodox. You see at the start, just runs at Jake. Like, that's not boxing. But yeah, they show a replay. Just that recklessness of Nate here. We'll run it back. You see him when he's throwing a jab, but he's not staying still. He's almost running. It's almost like he's looking to throw a Superman punch with that right hand, if that makes sense. If you're familiar with MMA, you'll see he's not fully planted on those feet, at least from what I'm seeing. He could be, but he's not like fully planted in a good position to throw that 1-2. And you'll see here, he throws that left, it misses, and that right's not blocking his head. That right's not blocking his head at all. It's still low. And then he comes here ready to throw that right again. And pay attention to how low his left hand is. Or sorry, low his right hand is, my bad. When he throws that strike, if you're going to throw a hook, you got to bring it back. Nate threw that hook and just turned his head. Like, he turned his head right into it. So I haven't fully looked at this, so I might be a little bit wrong here, but look, he tries to double up on that hook, which it's not a clean hook at all. I think we can agree on that. But he really throws that. And then, to be fair to Jake, like, that was a good job. That was a good job moving out of the way of that left, throwing that right. Obviously, it's not pretty. It's not the prettiest knockdown I've ever seen in my life. But it wasn't that bad. And, I think Jake thought he knocked him out. And then here we go, round number 2. And, like, to be fair to Nate, like, he's trying to do body work there, but he was just, there was a point in time in this fight where you could see Nate Robinson, he's had boxing training, but either the pressure got to him, I don't know what got to him in this moment. It's his professional debut. You're going to have these jitters. But still, it wasn't, I was slightly disappointed in Nate. I knew Jake was going to win, but I was expecting better technique from Nate, if that makes sense. I was expecting from a world-class athlete to at least take this, at least really try to learn technique. And then you see him here switch to that southpaw stance, which, hey, was interesting. And I think Jake calling out guys like Conor McGregor, Dylan Dennis, he's going to need to, if you want to fight an MMA fighter, you need to see multiple stances, because in MMA, it's a lot more frequent to see people changing stances, especially Conor McGregor. He'll change stances on you, but more southpaw. And then we see Jake just trying to slip those punches, go to the body, which in reality, I think, see, Jake's feints are really good, and that's just so reckless. Like, he runs, he's running, he's not even, it's just not it, Chief. It's just not it, Chief. And Jake, to be fair to Jake, like, he had decent head movement. It wasn't great. It wasn't like Mike Tyson's head movement at several points in the fight, which I could make a video on the Mike Tyson fight if you want to see. Personally, it wasn't the most entertaining thing, but I'm very grateful I got to see a Mike Tyson fight night in my lifetime. But, like, his head movement wasn't, it wasn't super good, but he was getting out of the way of the punches. And you saw that overhand right from Jake was, quite frankly, the story of that fight. Nate Robinson, when Jake was throwing that right, he was overcommitting with his head. And if Nate Robinson caught him with an uppercut, all she wrote. Nate Robinson caught him with the uppercut, because here, we'll take a look. I don't know what Jake's doing with his left hand. He threw it like this. Like, he didn't keep it this left here, which obviously, I'm trying to explain it. It's slightly unorthodox, at least the way I like to, but. And then, yeah, that clinch there. Yeah, great feints from Jake. At the end of the day, big right hand. Nate don't want to be there no more. Nate don't want to be there no more. Nate does not want to be there no more. And, Snoop Dogg right now. I haven't muted, but I remember watching this Snoop Dogg screaming, "Oh, Lord have mercy. Oh, Lord have mercy." And it's like, it's true, bro. Like, it was a rough one. And then, I did not think Nate was going to get up from that. And, yeah, I did not think Nate was going to get up from that, if I'm honest. And he's, like, talking to the referee here. He got more time than he really should have. But, hey, Jake comes back here and big knockout. It's all over. It's all over, baby. It's all over. Look at this again. Look at this again. Great jab from Jake, which that jab did actually seem to do a meh job compared to all his other jabs. And then that real sloppy uppercut to the body. But then run it back. You'll see. Sloppy uppercut, and then boom. Hey, it wasn't the cleanest knockout in terms of technique, but Buddy got knocked out cold. Buddy got slept by Jake Paul. You're never living that one down, boys. Getting slept by Jake Paul. I don't know if you can live that one down, but yeah, I mean, when you see boxers with kids get knocked out like this, it is scary. Cause I mean, thinking about the children, that's gotta be scary. But hey, that's probably gonna do it for this video. Yeah, I really don't know what else to say. I mean, to be fair to Nate Robinson, he tried at the end of the day. Didn't do great though. He tried, and seeing as he is a NBA player, yeah, I wasn't expecting much from him, but I was expecting better technique out of him, if that makes sense. But hey, You hate to see it, but Jake Paul, I mean, I'm praying that KSI KOs him. I'm praying. That's all we can hope for, ladies and gentlemen. That's all we can hope for. KSI's our last hope. And then the delusions of Jake Paul fighting Conor McGregor, obviously, which, do what you want, bro. But yeah, just real messy, sloppy fighting. That whole fight, really. Jake Paul, his technique looked better in the Anissan Gibb fight. His technique wasn't as good. And he said he wasn't as sharp after a meditating accident, and he couldn't spar for about 3 weeks, which, hey, excuses, but we move. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know if you want to see more of these on my main channel. If you're on the Undisputed MMA channel, subscribe, like. I think the subscribe button on that channel is glitched. If you're on the Jack Casey Raps YouTube channel, subscribe as always. Almost to 500 subs. That's the goal by the end of the year. 50 on Undisputed MMA by the end of the year. I don't know. We're not going to get to it, but hey, we'll say it. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video. This is probably going to be the only video that I'm going to post on the Jack Casey Raps YouTube channel about combat sports, but I figured, let's do it, just because I see a lot of wimps talking about it, acting like they know a lot about boxing, and they don't. They don't know anything. But hey, I hope you enjoyed this video. As always, like, subscribe, all of that jazz. And hey, Jack Casey Raps, not getting knocked out by Nate Robinson, signing out, and